Okay, so as you might imagine, I have a YouTube channel, so I always watch other YouTube channels that talk about tile. And sometimes it just blows my mind how much bad information is given. So my YouTube channel is all about installing tile and the proper ways of doing that. The TCNA standards and ANSI standards. So when you build a shower, you want to do it, or any tile job, you want to do it the proper way so that you don't have problems in the future. Okay, so I wanted to make a quick video about a lot of the tile work that I see on YouTube. A lot of guys that are just giving you information that is completely incorrect. And there's one guy in particular, I'm not going to say his name, but you probably know who he is. He keeps on telling you that you don't need to follow standards. You don't need to do things the way they're supposed to be done, because you can just do it his way and it'll be perfectly fine. So the thing is this: if you follow bad advice, then you're going to suffer the consequences. Not the person who gave you the advice. The person who gave you the advice isn't going to suffer those consequences. You are. So if you went to a doctor, or if you went to a mechanic, or if you went to an electrician, or you had some plumbing done, would you just try and figure it out yourself and see what works? And then you investigate one thing and you see that this is how it's done, or that that's how it was done. Would you just copy that and then do it that way without knowing what all the elements of that installation were and why it was done that way? Is it going to work the same in your installation? There's a lot of things that can't be seen just by tearing something apart. That's why you need standards and methods, so that when you do something and you do it, follow the way it was supposed to be done, as it's being researched, developed, and then tested, and over the years proven to work, that's the method you want to follow. So the proper methods and standards, where did I put them here? Oh, right behind me. Okay, so methods change, recommendations change, more methods are developed, research, and all kinds of things happen in every industry. This is the handbook for 1995. This is the TCNA Handbook. This is when it was called the Tile Council of America. And it was just more like a pamphlet than a book. And these were the guidelines in 1995. In 2007, it was a little bit thicker. In 2018, it's in 2019 now, we're in 2019, but this is 2018, the current handbook. The 2019 hasn't come out yet. So methods have been used and tried, and what was in this book here in 1995, much of it will be in this book. But in addition to all that, there's a ton of other stuff. New materials, new methods, new standards, new everything. The TCNA, the ANSI book is the same. This is just ANSI 108 and 118. That's the installation and the setting materials. This is for 1992. This one here is 2014. I don't have the 2008 one just yet. So this is the 2014. Same thing. A108 and A118. These refer to these, and this is what you should go by to install time. So manufacturers, they develop, like 20 years ago, there was no foam boards, there was no Schluter-Curdy board, there was no, there's a lot of stuff that we have today that we didn't have back then. Why did they develop all these products? Because they were trying to find a better system, a lighter system, an easier system, more reliable systems. Now, if you go, for example, if you do a shower, a water in, water out shower. Water in, water out shower is a shower with a vinyl liner. Then there's a bunch of stuff that you have to follow to make sure that that will work, and it will continue to work through the years. If you build it wrong, it'll probably work, but over 10 years, 15 years, things can happen. Doing things the right way ensures an outcome that will work and that will last. Cutting corners, omitting steps. For example, if you build a shower with drywall and then you waterproof it, and you put a waterproofing membrane on it, and then you tile it, it's going to work. It's not going to work. It might not even leak. It might never leak. But the problem is this: if it works today, is it going to work in a year's time? Is it going to work in 6 years' time? You don't know. You're rolling the dice. If you build that shower according to the to proper methods and standards, you know that it works today and it'll work in 20 years' time. It doesn't leak today, it won't leak in 20 years' time. And then there's a lot of guys that say, well, you know, we pulled up this shower that was in a bathroom, it was on drywall, it was perfectly dry, there wasn't a problem with it, and why use these more expensive products because it works anyway. Well, yeah, I guess that can happen. But here's the thing, right? If you build 1,000 showers with sheetrock and then you just tile right over it, and maybe 60% of them won't leak. Maybe 60% of them will be fine for the first year, 2 years, 5 years, even 10 years. So you got 1,000 showers, 60% of them don't leak, and there's not a problem. You go and rip it out and you see that, wow, geez, this shower didn't leak. No problem, just build it this way. What you didn't realize is out of 1,000 showers, 600 were good, but 400 were bad. If you build a shower according to the proper standards and methods, out of 1,000 showers will be perfectly fine. So that's why you need to follow methods and standards. Now, there's one guy, like I was saying, that promotes using a liquid waterproofing membrane over sheetrock. If you, Red Guard in particular, but doesn't matter what it is, Red Guard, Aqua Defense, Hydroban, whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is. If you read the instructions, I'm gonna actually put a quote in it in this video from their instructions and from their frequently asked questions. They specifically say not to use a liquid waterproofing membrane over sheetrock in a wet area. Not because it'll fail every time, but because there are a significant amount of showers that will fail or wet areas that will fail. Do you really want to roll the dice and take a chance? Do you want to spend $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, $20,000 on a shower, on a bathroom, and not be absolutely sure that it's not going to fail? Cheap materials, cutting corners, eventually will cost you more money. So another thing is, you don't want to use materials that are designed for one purpose for another purpose. For example, thin set is an adhesive. Thin set is actually a method it's not a material. If you look on the bag, it'll say dry set mortar, polymer modified thin set mortar. In other words, thin set is more a method and not a material. You use a mortar to set tile in the thin set method. Shorthand, it's thin set. I call it thin set. A lot of people call it thin set, but it's actually dry set mortar. And what that means is dry set, that you get a dry tile and you set it dry. Years ago, they used to soak tiles in water because they had to use Portland cement and sand. It's just the way the thin set works. I have actually another video that explains how thin set works. And I also have another video that explains what what each type of thin set is used for. So a regular thin set is supposed to just have like a thin bond coat. An LFT or LHT thin set can have a thicker bond coat, but it's only up to, in the most extreme cases, is only like a ½ inch that you can build up a LFT or LHT mortar, and they're designed so that you can use a bigger trowel and have a deeper bond coat for the larger tiles. You don't want to use materials designed for one purpose for another purpose. In other words, for example, you don't want to use thin set mortar, which is actually a dry set mortar. Thin set is a method and not a material. The method is the material is mortar. There's different standards for thin set mortar. So there's different types of thin sets. I'm not going to go into that, but just quickly, there's A118.1, which is unmodified, A118.4, which is modified, A118.11, which is the EGP, which is for exterior grade plywood, and A118.15, which is improved thin set mortar. And then there's an E, and there's T, and there's thixotropic, extended open time. So they are mortars designed to adhere a tile to a substrate. If you need to build depth because you've got a dip or you've got a wavy wall, you should straighten out the wall or straighten out the floor before you install your tile. So what I'm trying to get at here is, don't use a product designed for one purpose for another purpose. Same thing with waterproofing membranes. If you've got a liquid applied waterproofing membrane and you're going to be setting tile on a wet area, don't apply it on drywall and expect it to last forever. Expect it to last forever or to work properly. If you've got a drywall, if you've got a shower and you want to waterproof it, get some cement board and waterproof that. Don't get drywall. Drywall is a gypsum product. It's not safe in a wet area. Cement board is a cement product and it's safe in a wet area. You waterproof it so no water can penetrate. Well, you say, well, if you waterproof the sheetrock and it's completely waterproof, it's going to be fine. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. If the manufacturer says don't use it, are you going to take that chance? Some guys will tell you it's perfectly fine. But if the manufacturer has said not to use it, they must have tested it. They know their product, they developed it. So if they say not to use it, then why would you take that chance? You can build a box, like some guys, they build a box, they waterproof it, and they let it sit there for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and no water comes out. I know, but it's just sitting there. A house moves, it expands, it contracts. You're walking on it. You're closing the door. You're opening the door. The temperature changes, and it's all. So there's many things that can happen in a real world environment, in a real world test. So if it says not to use it, and you're going to use it, then you're taking the chance. And like I said, if you build 1,000 showers or 1,000 floors and you omit a step or you don't use the product the way it's supposed to be used, doesn't mean they're all going to fail. It means that a certain percentage is going to fail. If you need to do 100 things to do to have a proper installation work perfectly and last forever. If there's 100 things you need to do, and say you do 99 of those and then you don't do the one, probably be fine. The installation will probably be fine. If it's not a critical element that you left out, for example, if you put down a floor and you don't use thin set, it's not going to last because there's nothing bonding the tile to the floor. So that's a critical element. So chances are it's probably going to be fine. You do two things wrong, now you've increased the chances that double the chances it's not going to work. So where is the point where you can omit things or use things in the improper way and you're not going to have a problem? And like I said before, if you tear out 1,000 installations where it was installed improperly and 600 of them are good, that means there are 400 that are bad. It's a 60-40 chance in that case. Numbers could be high, it could be lower. You're going to take that chance? Do it the right way, and you won't have that problem. It'll just work because that's how it was designed. That's what the development and the research and everything and the manufacturers have determined that's what you need to do so that you don't have a problem. So anyway, just leave your comments in the comment section. Check me out on Patreon if you can support me there. That'd be great. And most of all, don't forget to subscribe. And thanks for watching.